All right, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back to episode 3 of TalkIFY. I'm actually really excited about this episode. So let's start with the person to my left, which is Christine. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can let Eric do afterwards.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christine. I am a CSM here in the Bay Area. I've been working in tech probably closer to 7 years now, and I have focused in a CSM role maybe for the last 3 years. And excited to be here with Erica. Thanks for putting this on.
I'll go next. So I'm Eric LaChance. I am a customer success manager, and I've been CSMing now for, 7 years with various SaaS platforms. So I jumped at the chance to get on TalkIFY and talk with Erica and kind of discuss what we've been experiencing as customer success managers for software companies.
Right on. All right, so first things first, we need to say a huge, big thank you to everyone who is working in customer success right now. I mean, you guys are literally the glue holding things together, and I just want to let all of you all know that you are kicking ass right now and continue to do that. So CS teams, they've never faced an economic crisis. It's becoming obviously more and more clear that acquiring new customers won't be as easy as it was obviously last year. So retaining our existing customers is crucially important right now. So first question first, COVID-19, it's increasing the risk of churn. As CSMs, like, what are you doing to manage this? How has this caused you to change your strategy? Let's start with Eric.
Okay. So since this whole thing, and a little background, where I currently work, I'm working. So the working remotely aspect of my job was never something different for me. What I had to realize that the clients that I'm interfacing with, it's different for them. And recognizing those differences and those challenges and kind of remembering back to when I was going into an office on a daily basis and, making that transition to 100% from home. You have to realize and be okay with the dog barking, the mailman showing up, Amazon Prime dropping off my essentials. And I think that they're quick to apologize. And it's just like, look, like, I get it. I work from home 100% and I understand the struggle. I understand having family in the house. I understand having a dog that will bark and keep guard. I understand that it's difficult for you to perhaps turn on your camera. Because you don't want to, I don't want you to see my house. Like, did I clean up today? So I think that recognizing their struggles and what they're experiencing, especially clients that, go to a big office every day and have that interaction. I always make it a point before this all happened, I would think of being on my webcam as an option. Now it's like, by default, I am on webcam. You need to see my face. Like, whether it's because we're talking renewal, whether that's talking that we're having an escalation and you need to see how I'm reacting, it's more of like, you need that social interaction. Even if you don't turn your camera on, like, I'm cool with you just watching me. Like, maybe you get a little chuckle.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, picking off of what Eric said, I would say that, like, you definitely have seen a change of behavior with the interactions with your clients. It's no longer, currently, it's not as it's still professional, but there's an element of like humanness, like, oh, okay, so you are real people. You have a family in the background. Your kid wants to see, who you're talking to on a video screen. So I think that really has elevated relationships on our end to be able to discuss just different things and like relate to them a little bit more, because we've opened up pretty much like, okay, we're both two people and we can have an interaction. As far as your question on like, you know, churn being increased and like what are we doing to manage? I mean, at this point, really, CSMs are doing what CSMs do, and it's like we're trying to maintain the relationship, ensure that we are a champion for the client, and like let them know that we are here for them. We're fighting the battle internally for their for, you know, any pain points that they're experiencing. So it's really been a way to answer like, okay, you weren't 100% virtual, you know, whether it was enablement, whether it was training, whether it's process, whatever it is, maybe HR function. However, like today, I mean, it wasn't like that yesterday, but it needs to be like that today. So what is the quickest way to get there for the client? And, you know, I wish I could give like an all encompassing answer, you know, source of truth to everybody, but it's really just like understanding where the client is at, what have they done thus far, and how can we propel them to, you know, move them forward. And I think that is how I personally have been trying to manage any potential risk churn within my portfolio. Just, you know, really just being there for them, like doing what we do best at CSMs, like be their internal champion, like, and how can we get there together?
All right. Quick question, actually. With everyone that we've actually had on the show so far, there's also been some specific challenges that these positions have seen. So I'm curious, actually, now speaking with you guys, do you think that there's a common challenge that every company in any industry is facing right now that you've never seen before?
I mean, for me, I would say it's the immediate reaction to our current situation. Like how nobody thought that they would be in the situation. I guess we all thought that we still have tomorrow to become virtual. But I think today we're realizing that like we should have been virtual yesterday. So I would say if I had to kind of give you a brief statement of my portfolio and their pain points, you know, in one sentence, is that re-strategizing. Like, what does virtual look like? How can we communicate with our company virtually? We don't have the accessibility of an office to just, you know, come up to my coworker and say, "Hey, how's it going? Like, I need help with this." Now it's like, okay, we need to find better ways, better ways to open up that communication. So I feel like everyone is experiencing re-strategizing how to communicate virtually and remotely.
Yep, and same boat, really. For me, it's, you know, funny that when this again it first started, it was a slow trickle. Like, oh, we're gonna work from home for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Now, I think a lot of senior leaders with the companies that I interact with are, we're not going back to that. This is a, you know, this is the new norm, and how do we navigate that new norm?
Absolutely. I think we're moving forward here. Even if you wanted to go back to the old ways, like there's no point now because we've been waiting to get here. There's just, you're moving fast forward right now.
Right, right. And as CSMs, you need to like adapt and align to the catering of these customers. How are you actually dealing with the constant shifting of these targets, and how are you getting them to their goals without actually burning yourself out now? Because this is something that you're also not used to either.
I'll go first. I think having a strong partnership with, you know, the company that you're working for and understanding that landscape in which you're dealing with now.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, it's the partnership in which we have with product management, product development, making sure that customers' needs are outlined. And, you know, like if you want to keep them as a customer, we're going to need to do something to help them, especially during this time. So that's one way that I've found to be an avenue in this world.
Right.
I I definitely would echo what Eric is saying. It's always a constant. It's always going to be a constant struggle to connect. But I feel like right now, people, especially clients, are more than willing to hear you out. Like, all right, we've tried things in the past. Like, what do you have to offer?
Yeah, and taking that relationship to a different level now, being more trusting with each other and open to each other. It's almost like a real relationship, like you're dating this company at this point. It's what it sounds like. Like you're in a relationship with them, and all trust it needs to be in this relationship, and work together as one.
Yep.
So then let me get this question's for, like, I guess everybody, not just CSMs right now. Then in a typical time, CSMs that I know of too tend to actually work from home, as Eric mentioned earlier. So as you're, like, since you're used to it, what kind of advice would you have for other people, like, me, who's a BDR, or like someone who's in product marketing? Like, any advice on how to remote work? Like, or, you know what I mean? Like, so that we're not going crazy, or, what we've learned so far is structure. But do you have anything to add on that?
I mean, I think I'll let Eric, since I think he mentioned he's working remotely for 7 years, 8 years?
No, not 7 years. 2 years now, solely remotely. But a large part of our job, I think, is managing the relationship that we have with clients as a company, and also being that face. I think that software can be very like, oh, I'm going to send a support chat in and like talk to someone that I have no idea who they are and where they are. And we bring, and I think Christine said it earlier, was we bring that human aspect to the job. I think that shouldn't be lost. And I always am a sucker for silver linings here. And I think that this event really will change the way businesses operate and how they interact with clients. In terms of tips, yes, I do like structure. This lamp behind me, when it's on, I am working, and when it's off, I'm done. That's my personal routine, and that's what signifies the start of my workday, and that's what ends my workday. Not to say that I'm not checking my phone and emails and things while I'm sitting on this couch watching TV, but I think that's having some routine is important.
Right.
I'll definitely say that for myself. So I actually was working in an office and moved into this remote work while this happened. For me, the one thing, and as silly as it is, it's set an alarm, get up, and take a shower. Like, just really like reset as much as you can, so that like your mind is like working towards a goal. While I'm working, I wish I had like a physical signal that said like, okay, today I'm working and this is where I'm done. I sometimes blur that line. I'll start maybe 8 to 9, and I'll maybe stop around 3, and then I find myself opening up my laptop maybe again at 4:35, working for another hour or so. So I'm blurring the lines, which works for me and maybe not for other people, but understanding that, while you're looking at your computer, wherever it is, you're sitting at your desk, like, this is like your one time to do it, like, do it as best as you can. And then when you're done, like, you're done, and it's okay. It's okay to step away, even though you're not in an office. You're not going to sleep in an office. So like, you're not going to sleep with your laptop on. So just distinguishing that, I think is very important for a lot of people working remote. I mean, at least for me.
I learned that I need to wake up and take a shower. Maybe that's what's slowing me down.
Right. I took a shower because I was going to be recorded today. So
this has been a very good excuse for people to get fixed up and, put on makeup and do their hair. And so I'm glad I can help anyone in that. So
I mean, honestly, you look good, you feel good, you'll do good. Like, that's kind of my internal model.
absolutely.
Yeah, and
like
we've actually talked about in our previous episodes that mental health is like the best thing that you can have right now through all of this. And so it's like, it's amazing that every episode we have and everyone agrees. And it's just like, and then to hear the way that everybody's just like making themselves happy and doing really well with everything and the things that they do to keep themselves entertained, which actually leads me to my next question. You guys have been home for 2 months now, working from home, or actually longer than that because you guys have been doing this for quite some time. Have you learned whether you're an introvert, an ambient, and or an extrovert, and through this whole entire process? And work aside, what are actually some of the things that have entertained you during quarantine?
So I'll say I'm 100% an extrovert. I think in this role, you have to be somewhat of an extrovert in order to communicate with your clients and build relationships. And I will say, and I keep telling all my clients, you can't keep an extrovert contained this long. I need to get out. But what I've been doing, I mean, I think you could see from my background, I've been trying to enjoy, a bit of sunshine, just to like ensure that like my mental health is not being affected. And like other than honestly, work does keep me busy most of the day. Really just finding some time to like get up, take my dog on a walk, take her to the park, even though you're not supposed to, but just trying to get out of the current quarters in order to just to ensure like, hey, like it's okay, like you'll be fine, you can totally do something. And I've been reading a couple of books here and there, so just trying to keep active as much as I can.
She has admitted that she's broken quarantine rules on live television.
I'm like, ooh.
I don't know. I don't know if I can save you. I might be able to edit that out. I don't know.
So, making the transition to working from home like 2 years ago at this point, I realized that like I am an extrovert. So like I have like a nightly routine, not nightly, but I miss going to like my local spots for a glass of wine after my work day. And like I live in a small town, so it's like I've made friends with the bartenders, with patrons and regulars, and not seeing them is strange. I'm in a lucky scenario that I have family that live with me. So I'm not alone, which is huge. I also have my dog. But I really have shifted my focus of basically creating my own treasure island here.
Right.
I like last week, I live in the Northeast outside of Boston, so the weather's finally starting to get nice and springtime like. So I got some yard games. I bought bocce ball. I got some croquet. Earlier, when it was still a little cool out, I bought an inflatable hot tub. And this is an Intex plug. If you want a really cheap inflatable hot tub, Amazon, Intex, highly recommend. 104-degree human crock pot. Jump on in. It really is relaxing. But I'm lucky, like Christine said, to have being outside, trying to do things with the dog. I'm not limited to dog parks, so we still let the dog run around dog parks, and just trying to keep her up around the house, like yard work. So I spread some mulch last weekend. I think. And positive attitude, yeah.
Yeah, positive attitude
absolutely.
is
find
key.
the silver linings here.
And I hope that you guys still have a drink every night, just so you can feel sane. Do your thing, keep it going. All right, you guys. Well, actually, that's all the questions I have, and actually all the time that we have for today, too. So I actually want to thank you guys so much, Christine, Eric, for coming on today. And honestly, I think what you guys shared will be extremely helpful for any of those who are listening. Again, to all the CS teams out there, keep doing what you're doing. You're kicking butt. And if you guys are watching, have any thoughts, questions, requests, please feel free to drop them below in the comment section. All right, you guys, you have a good night. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye. Thank you.